Well, next tonight, the Ministry of Defence has insisted that safety is of paramount importance after an inquiry into a crash involving a Red Arrows jet last year claimed that resource constraints and a shortfall in engineering staff could lead to future incidents.
Well, the Service Inquiry Panel's report into the fatal crash in North Wales highlighted that the pilot was almost certainly fatigued and distracted.
Flight Lieutenant David Stark survived after ejecting from the plane, but Engineer Corporal Jonathan Bayliss remained on board and was killed. Jonathan Brown reports now from the Red Arrows base at RAF Scampton in Lincolnshire.
Well, the release of this report by the Service Inquiry Panel sheds fresh light on an incident which shocked Red Arrows fans the world over. It was back on March the 20th last year that a plane carrying Corporal Jonathan Bayliss crashed near the runway of RAF Valley in North Wales. Corporal Bayliss was a 41-year-old engineer who'd spent 17 years working with the RAF. Now, that plane had set off with the intention of simulating an engine failure and then returning here to RAF Scampton, but it was during that manoeuvre that the plane's engine stalled and lost altitude. The plane's pilot, Flight Lieutenant David Stark, managed to eject from the plane and survived the incident, but it was too late to warn Corporal Bayliss. Today, investigators said that the pilot was almost certainly distracted by a call from air traffic control. They also said he was probably fatigued because of his hectic work schedule, and that pressure on Red Arrows pilots more generally are being made worse because of a shortfall in funding and a lack of engineering and safety workers. And if those issues aren't resolved, it could put further pilots at risk. Now, the Ministry of Defence responded to this report by saying that they accept all of its findings, but that safety is of paramount importance to the RAF, but no flying is without risk. The RAF continues to work hard to ensure that safety considerations are at the core of all of our activity, and that our flying operations are conducted with any risk mitigated to as low as reasonably practical. Well, following this investigation, the Service Inquiry Panel has made 25 recommendations to the Ministry of Defence in a bid to enhance safety and make sure nothing like this ever happens again. We understand that progress on those recommendations has been made. 7 so far have been implemented, and it's so that everything possible can be learned from this tragedy. Jonathan Brown, ITV News at RAF Scampton.
The Ministry of Defence has responded to findings that the Red Arrows pilots aren't given enough time to rest as part of their routine. An inquiry into a fatal crash in Wales last year, which led to the death of Engineer Corporal Jonathan Bayliss, found that the pilot of the aircraft was likely to have been fatigued and distracted. The MoD says a number of recommendations from the report have already been implemented.